I had an accident about a year and a half ago. My first accident on the road. Crashed loads of times racing. But my first accident on the road, and some moron started off really sunny this morning. What the fuck is all this cloud on about? Yeah, some guy sideswiped me on the motorway. Now, I was in the middle lane, he was in the outside lane. Didn't look. I was going slow, wasn't. It was heavy traffic. I wasn't undertaking him. Going slow. It was one of my slow days, actually. You know, so I was just kind of sauntering. I hate filtering on the motorways, so, you know, traffic was heavy, so I just decided not to. And he just moved over to the left. Didn't see me. I managed to... He didn't hit me. I managed to brake really hard, but because I braked really hard, the front wheel skidded away. Of course, I went down, dislocated my shoulder, tumbled on the floor a lot, dislocated my shoulder. As I tried to get up off the floor with this horrible wobbly arm, I fell over, landed on the same shoulder and popped it back in. So if you want to know the definition of pain, there you go. That's it. Popping your own dislocated shoulder back in. It's weird really, because I raced bikes for 10 years and I never had an accident that bad. All my crashes tend to be slidey ones. I don't know why. Well, except the last one was a bit of a tumble and I broke my hand and then decided that racing wasn't for me after all. But yeah, so he knocked me off, and a year and a half later, nothing's resolved legally. My shoulder's getting worse. I can still use it, I can still ride the bike, but I can't lift heavy objects. That causes me real issues, and I can't lift weights with my arm in front of me, extended out in front of me, which is a proper faff, actually, because the amount of times that you actually need to do that is astonishing. You know, even when you're reaching over on a table and you're just moving something. Yeah, but the accident itself. Let's just move our mic down here a bit. The accident itself was all kinds of shit. The guy tried to make a run for it after he'd knocked me, and he did look and he saw what happened. Tried to make a run for it. He was in really slow moving traffic, so a biker raced after him. There was a biker behind me, raced after him, got him, made him stop. The guy pulled up on the hard shoulder. He came back and was all apologetic. I didn't see your mate with your bright orange fucking bike. I didn't see your where am I going? Do I want to put my bike gear on? Yeah, I'll go on, get that on. Yeah, so he claims it's all that shit. Anyway, I was, clearly I was injured. The bike was on its side. A van behind me had just avoided running over me. So as people were picking the bike up and moving it to the side of the road, this bloke said to me, the bloke who caused the accident said, "Oh, are you injured? Or do we need to call the emergency services?" And this guy said that he would do it. And I didn't think anything of it. I had better things to fucking worry about, quite frankly. Sorry. So he was stood there at the side of the road, phone to the ear, and he was on the phone to the emergency services, and he said to me in front of everybody, there were lots of people there at the time, he said, "Oh, are you injured?" And I said, "Well, yeah, probably." And then he chatted a little bit, and they said, "Are there any broken bones?" And I said, "Well, no, I don't think anything's broken." And then he turned to me and said, "Well, they're not going to send anybody out, an ambulance or a police car." And I said, "Oh, fuck. Well, what do you do? Christ, I'd better, even at that time, I thought I had better things to worry about. The bike, the crash, there was just lots of shit going on at the time." And he said, "Oh, no one's going to come out." So, we just took it as read that was going to happen, nothing was going to happen, and I'd have to, with an arm that just fucking dislocated, I was going to have to ride the bike home, which is what I eventually did. Anyway, everyone had cleared off. By this time the bike was on the hard shoulder, and I was about to leave. I was the last one at the accident, believe it or not. The fucking injured party was the last one there. And I was about to leave, and I saw some flashing blue lights, and it was a cop car. Anyway, they stopped behind me, and I remember thinking, what's this about? This is a bit late, aren't they? The guy got out, and he asked me a couple of questions and said, look, did you call the emergency services? Which I thought was a bit odd. And I said, yeah, there was a call made. He said, oh, well, let me just check. He did a check, came back and said, there's been no record of an emergency call being made from this location about any incident at this location. You fucking cunt! Fucking bastard! The guy who'd knocked me off had just stood there at the side of the road with his fucking mobile phone pinned to his ear, not pretending to make a call, not actually making a call to anybody. Bastard! And of course, the weird thing is, the upshot of it is, that the guy actually gave me his right name and his right mobile number, which is kind of weird, isn't it? But you know, we had his number plate and these type of cameras. Well, you know, as you might suspect, of course the car's not fucking his, but it actually belongs to his mother. Anyway, a year and a half later, he was never prosecuted for anything. His mother was prosecuted for, now what was it? Either failing to produce documents, and there was silence from both of them, from the bloke and his mum's, total silence. Either failing to produce documents, or, you know, allowing a driver in the car without insurance or something like that. And this guy himself wasn't insured. You know, a year and a oh my god. I mean, we're quite close to settling it legally now, to be honest. Their insurance company had agreed to pay, which is actually what my solicitor said generally happens. So, you know, even though this guy technically wasn't insured to drive the mother's car, because the car was insured, the insurance will pay for it. Their insurance will pay for it. But who's fucking turned up a year or so later? Mr. Cuntface himself, the man that caused the fucking crash, has actually finally been in touch with the insurance company. And now, and remember that this all went to court. This actually went to court because the old woman was prosecuted. So it went to court. And the insurance company, they admitted, was it an admission of liability? They took responsibility or took liability, whatever it is, for the insurance side of matters. So they said, yes, we are the insured, we will cover costs, whatever, should anything arise. Now, of course, Mr. fucking piss slaps himself has turned up. He's denied liability. A year fucking later, and after it's been to court, he's denied liability. And now the insurance company are denying liability. Now, my solicitor said, bollocks, there's no fucking chance. He said, first of all, if they want to deny liability, they actually have to go back to court to change, I don't know what they do, change a plea or whatever it is. And he said, you know, the chances of that happening are fairly slim. He said, you know, and secondly, the evidence is just overwhelming. You know, the guy did it. There's loads of witnesses. Everyone agrees he was a complete cunt, and of course he's disappeared and never turned up. So, you know, but all the insurance company are doing, dragging it out. Anyway, my shoulder is actually getting worse, and because I mean, I'm not a wealthy man by any means, but I'm in a position in life where, you know, I don't need the compensation in a hurry. You know, if there is a compensation payout, I don't need it in a hurry. So I'm currently making sure that, you know, every I is dotted, every T is crossed, that kind of thing. And which is probably partly why it's dragged out. It's mostly dragged out because that bastard fucking disappeared. Oh, it's gravel again. But, you know, let it be a lesson to you. Get a camera on your head.